We would be honored if you would join us.
All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of Dungeon Crawlers, where it might sound like we are in a cave, but really, we're not in a cave. We're in the tower. We're in the tower at Mythos. We've talked about this game store many, many times. We are actually here, except for Krebs. For some reason, Krebs is lost somewhere else.
Yes, I am
Krebs
ostracized.
is down in the dungeon.
Yes, he is in the dungeon.
I am in the
dungeon of his own home. But anyways, as you have probably already heard, because you've listened to all of our other episodes, we have Tracy and Laura Hickman on the show to talk about their Kickstarter, which is the Skyraiders of Abarax. See, we talked about it before and I still messed it up.
So nobody's going to be able to find it now.
No.
They'll be looking for the wrong thing.
And I did it.
This isn't even one of those times where I can intentionally change the name every time I say it.
I know.
The Skyraiders of Agamemnon. I can't do it because you can't. It's for the Kickstarter, which is legit. Yes. It is so freaking epic. I'm so excited for this episode. Thank you guys for being here.
And for those of you that are always worried, like, oh, I shouldn't jump on until it funds. Well, it's already funded. You guys have already
actually funded in 88 minutes.
Yeah. So
I guess we're doing okay.
In fact, last I was looking at the stats, I think you guys just passed like 300K, right?
Yeah, actually, we're at 311,
almost 312,000.
And
it's like a 500%.
Yeah. So clearly, you don't have to worry about not receiving this game,
but
which is awesome.
But Dungeon Crawlers, it is your job to get them to 350, or if this doesn't release by the time they get to 350, then 400.
So if they're 500% right now, let's make it 1,000.
Sweet.
1,000%.
Yes, I like that.
Because we can say we were 1,000% funded.
Actually, I'm really kind of hoping that we can get this up into the higher numbers, because the higher we're able to push this, the more actually we'll be able to do. In this.
We've got some really cool stretch goals going forward.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about this then, because I know that for a lot of people taking a look, may have been tracking for a while, different news outlets, things like that. A lot of people have said, oh, it's just another rules book, right? Like, what is this, and what is it that makes it different?
You're all wrong. Something more epic.
That's right. Well, there are a lot of things actually that make this project unique and exciting. First of all, I think for Laura and I, this really is the first role-playing setting that we have done together since Dragonlance.
Okay.
First world.
Yeah, this world is a new place for us, and the first world that we've created since Dragonlance. I mean, we had created before Ravenloft and a number of adventure modules as well, but Dragonlance really was the last full setting that we had done together. So now, after all of this time, it's really exciting for us to be able to bring an entirely new world setting in Skyraiders of Abarax to people who enjoy role playing, enjoy storytelling, and I think especially a new take on 5e gaming. So that, I mean, there are so many wonderful elements to Skyraiders that we're exploring. The world itself is very exciting for us and romantic and compelling.
We have flying ships.
Oh,
I can't wait. Flying pirates, man.
Yes. That sounds amazing.
It's almost like pirates who raid, but they don't raid on the sea. They raid in the heavens, like the sky.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love everything about it.
Yeah, it's and the setting itself is a lot of people said that it reminds them a bit of Australia, and I think we took a little bit of influence from Australia's history.
Okay.
Because everyone that was on this island in ancient times was a distant prison.
Okay, so a penal colony.
Yeah, nice. A penal colony
but it was used by many lands, actually.
Yeah, many lands, many different ancestries, many different cultures used this as a dumping ground for not just criminals and ne'er-do-wells, but political dissidents and people who just didn't fit.
Okay.
and they were all brought to this distant kind of exile on this island of Abarax. But one day the great airships of the sky quit coming, and no one knew why. The supply began to dwindle very quickly. There was no, and control became an issue. And as order began to break down, then the keepers of these different colonies had to make a decision as to how they would be able to survive. They had to deal with this prison population that they had, and so many of them opened the doors. They knew that they had to find a way to agriculture. They needed to find a way to eat. They needed to find a way to survive, and even that broke down further into chaos as petty kingdoms started to come into being, and there was a period called the Possession Wars, where everyone fought over the few remaining resources that were then available at the time. And so the people on this island, the prisoners and the descendants of the keepers alike, and the descendants of the prisoners, have struggled to stay alive and struggled to survive, and in many ways struggled to keep their own cultures alive on this distant place. So, and this has been for 200-300 years. Generations have passed since the ships quit coming, and now we come to a period of time when ships are being rediscovered, and there's the opportunity now for us to commandeer a ship, to take flight ourselves, and to search these now unknown horizons, to try to find those mythic and legendary places, tales that were told to us by our parents and our grandparents of places that once were home.
Yeah.
And that's really where the story begins for these people on Abarax.
No, that's amazing. So obviously, besides the airships, what else is unique about this world you guys created? Is like unique races or other components that are unique?
Yes. We have the Barang.
Yeah, the Barang are probably one of the most exciting for me.
Okay.
They're actually taken from mythologies of the Far East. Okay. And they are panther-headed beings.
Nice.
They have black, shiny fur and
very
a culture,
intelligent.
very intelligent, and a culture of exploration and knowledge and pursuit of knowledge. Powerful beings, and with a unique culture all of their own. I'm also very excited about the ogres in this world.
Okay.
They are very much along the lines of the samurai.
Okay.
They actually see themselves as moral arbiters and paladins who are entrusted with order in this land. Although what their sense of order is rather unique.
Okay.
But it's not, and it's not just the not just the different types of player creatures that we have here, or as we refer to them actually in our materials and in versions as ancestries.
Okay.
We've actually moved away from the concept of race and are moving to the concept of kind of splitting that idea into ancestries and cultures, which in our case, ancestries deal primarily with physical characteristics.
Okay.
And cultures deal primarily with intellectual or learned behaviors and social characteristics. And this allows us actually to make even more interesting player characters, because you may have a character who is of dwarven ancestry, for example, who, for whatever reason, has been raised primarily in a barbarian culture
Okay.
of the Sparta, or perhaps much closer to the Fey cultures.
Okay.
And so they'd have the cultural influences of their surroundings mixed with the physical inherited qualities of their ancestry. All of this combines then into a more unique character and more flexible character in some ways.
Yeah, no, I like that. I mean, it's kind of like Loki from Marvel, you know.
Yeah.
He's an ice giant, but he was raised at Asgardian.
Exactly.
So you can have that.
Yeah, exactly. And we are toying with the concept as well. Laura and I are going to be discussing actually the cultural aspects a little bit more closely, and I've been wondering lately if we want to have a societal cultural influence and also a familial influence.
Oh, to separate those two out.
Yeah, to separate those two out,
I
which
can see how you
which
do
helps
that.
create internal differences for the characters.
Yeah.
And so it makes for, if people who enjoy character development when they're working up their own characters.
Yeah.
Are going to just love this.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it sounds fun because I mean, your family is your primary, structure where you build up relations and stuff like that and knowledge, and then secondary is your family and culture.
And
city
sometimes
you're around.
those are in conflict, which I
Yeah.
think makes for more interesting character.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're also introducing a new concept in lieu of alignment.
Okay.
As an enhancement.
It's an enhancement to alignment. I mean, you can still use alignment if you wish in your campaign, but we're using what we call ethos,
Okay.
which is a kind of a redefinition of the compass,
Okay.
the compass.
Yeah.
As we mentioned in the text, evil is something that we apply to other people.
Yeah.
We never call ourselves
Evil. Yeah.
evil, because what we do is fully justified
Yeah.
as far as we are concerned. So we are actually moving this in a different direction. I think lawful, neutral, and chaotic still works in terms of an axis, but
Good.
neutral,
Neutral.
good
evil.
and evil. We've actually moved more toward the concept of inclusive and exclusive.
Okay.
Inclusive meaning that you are willing to accept differences in others as part of a worldview.
Okay.
And exclusive is more of my worldview is correct, your worldview is not.
Okay.
And I think those work for very interesting perspectives. I mean, you can have someone who has a very strong internal exclusive view of the world, but who could be a good king because he does know what needs to happen and he's going to make it happen.
It sounds absolutely fascinating. I mean, we've talked a little bit about what sounds like some deep and well thought out world building. We're also seeing some interesting character mechanics and the ways that we can start to explain that character building better. But that kind of leads me to my next question is like, what kind of stories do we expect to see out of this world? Are there things that we're going to see as part of the Kickstarter? Are there things that maybe leads or prompts or characters that we're going to be introduced to along the way? It sounds like it's a pretty substantial universe.
It is a substantial universe, and it's expanding substantial universe. It's certainly one that we want to give enough material to game masters to be able to create in themselves. We'd like them to play in the sandbox. Exploration and discovery are, for me, a very compelling thing, and for Laura, I think as well.
Oh, yeah.
We love the idea of a horizon and what's just beyond.
Yeah.
That we feel like horizons are compelling things, and so yeah, it's really interesting. We were talking about this just the other day. We've spent a lot of detail and time on the Arenas coast, the coast of Abarax, where most of our characters originate.
Okay.
And we do that because all of our characters come from there.
Yeah.
But in the great scheme of things, it really is the place that we come from and not necessarily the place that we explore. The exploration takes place over the mountain in the unknown parts of Abarax. The exploration takes place across the sea.
And Abarax itself is quite large.
And Abarax itself is quite large.
Or an island, yeah.
Yeah. But beyond the coastlines of Abarax, there are other islands, there are other places to visit, there is other trade that is going on, there are other ships that are to be discovered. And so we want that idea of pushing back the horizons and discovering new places as very much central to what we're building here. So in our initial construction, the GM's book has details of the next level of this greater world that is out there, an area about 2,000 miles across.
Okay.
But beyond that is the rest of the world, and the rest of the world. And yes, we have a map for that too.
We're just not showing our whole hand
just
immediately.
not showing the whole hand. And if you find a map of the rest of the world, it's going to be pretty old. But we're in no hurry to pull the cover off of that, because it's the exploration and getting to the rest of that world that is very much at the heart of what we're building here.
And I also hear future game books, which is
Could
awesome.
well be.
So I'm going through the Kickstarter and I'm looking at this game, and we have legendary Tracy Hickman, Laura Hickman working on this. They're building the world, they're building the story. But there's something extremely unique about this RPG compared to so many other tabletop RPGs. There is a unique element, a unique tool. Can you tell us a little bit about what makes this RPG so unique compared to so many others?
Well, I think one of the great enhancements to this actually is the Living Tome system, which is an associated app that's being developed with our partners. There's 4 of us that are building this. Actually, it's Laura, actually there's more than that at this point. The 4 principals are Laura and myself, of course, and Kim and Joe Borey. Now, I'd met, we'd actually known the Boreys. They were neighbors of ours. They lived very close to us, to our home, and we knew them actually socially before. We discovered that Joe and I were both hired to work at the Void some years ago, and we're building amazing magical things together over at the Void. Now Joe and Kim actually had met each other at
Electronic Arts.
They worked at EA.
Oh, no kidding.
They started dating each other. Well, I don't know, when nerds fall in love. I just love that. I love their story.
That's awesome.
I kind of do know what it's like when nerds fall in love.
Oh, that's only because your wife is one.
She was a closet nerd, and I pulled that nerd right out of the closet.
Well,
For what it's worth, we are on record that Laura is the one who got introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons.
that's true.
I was not aware of that.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
absolutely. Yeah, she. We had only been married for
A few months.
A few months,
like 6
really.
months or something.
Yeah,
Wow.
and she failed to pick me up from work, and so I knew that she'd gone down with her. She was helping her girlfriend with a theater production downtown in Provo. And so I bicycled down there. Sure enough, there was our Volkswagen there in the parking lot.
They weren't doing a production. They were playing D&D.
They were not doing a production.
We were sitting on the stage playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow.
Because actually when the rest of the cast showed up, she said to one guy, "So did you bring your books?" And he said yes. And they all sat down on the stage and they said, "You're a second level magician, wizard. Roll these dice." And they were the strangest looking dice I'd ever seen in my life. But I did as I was bid. And they said, "You just put 3 of these monsters to sleep." And I was hooked.
Wow.
First one is always free. Am I right? You know, as a software developer myself, and as someone who's very much into gaming, into video gaming, into game design, this concept of an app assist, this tool, this living tome system, tell us what role the living tome system will have during a game.
It's actually having worked with Joe and Kim for this long, Laura and I were so excited about this concept. Most people, I think, and certainly programmers, I think, they look at the idea of an assisted app in a game like this as something that will play the game for you, you know?
Mhm.
And everyone around the table is going to be sitting around the table looking at their screens, which is the exact opposite of what we want in a role-playing game. Role-playing games are about creation and socialization and talking with each other and working together and weaving this story. And all of that takes place on the table. It doesn't happen in the app. So having been a game master for what, 45 years?
Almost as long as we've been married.
Almost as long as we've been married. For having been a game master about this long, we wanted to make sure that what we developed here would enhance the experience at the table rather than put people's faces in the glass.
Yeah.
So what we decided, Joe and I have been talking about this for a while, actually, were to create magical books that were AR enhanced and materials that were AR enhanced that would assist the play at the table rather than take away from it.
Nice.
And so what we have in these books, example is probably the easiest way to do this for you. We have in these books, we have in places in the books, you will see the pictures of historical figures.
Okay.
And as you're playing the game, you can take out your app, and you can look through it at the book. And the picture of the historical figure may move. You know, think of pictures in Harry Potter.
Oh yeah. Lots of move around.
This is the kind of thing that will happen. And since the app is aware of where you are in the game and is also aware of what your character's stats are in the game, if you are going towards an ancient ruin someplace and you look up the historical guy in the book and look through your app at the historical figure in the book, the app will know where you are, know what your stats are, and will give you information based on where you are in the game.
Wow.
So the historical figure might just tell you what the history of this place is, or what the historian knows about this place.
Wow.
And the nice thing about that is that you may be the only one who does that. And you may be the only one who gets that information. And so instead of, as Laura was saying earlier, instead of saying to the DM, well, I have like this history skill. What do I know about this place? And the DM has to tell you what you know about this place.
Now you got a historian telling you.
Now you have this historian in the app who can feed you this information, which means that in the game, your characters can be all approaching this ancient thing, this ancient structure, and you can say, I know about this place. This is the history of this place, and this is the legend of what happened here.
That's awesome.
And so we actually use the living tome system as a more immersive element for the play, as opposed to telling you what to do.
And also, you'll never have a GM that will have to like leave the room again, like to drag someone out of the room and say, you know, the secret thing. And everybody knows that they're out there getting told some secret thing. Instead, he'll be able to just push it to them on the
Nice.
app.
I do
And
like
so
that.
Better.
Then they'll know the secret thing without everyone knowing they know.
So
And I
so
don't
that
have to send a text message.
the app the app feeds and supports the role aspect of role playing, which is
Absolutely.
fantastic. Previous apps have done things like, oh, you're going to roll dice, or you're going to store your character sheet and you're going to have your stats. But I like that this has world building elements in it based on your character, based on their progress. I think that is absolutely brilliant. And as a software developer, I do not envy Joe for having to build this, because it's a lot of work. This has a ton of complexity. It's so very interesting how you can take an app that has a very simple function, and you, as a user, you use this thing and you're like, oh, well, of course I'm going to be able to log in and I'm going to be able to save my data and I'm going to be able to retrieve this data. And if I switch devices, then that data is going to transfer over. But what the user doesn't get to see is all of the gears and the grease that go into that, because it's not automatic. You have to actually build that. Even though it's commonplace in a lot of apps, you have to build that. And now we have an app where the progress, the context of what the player gets from the app is based entirely on their character, their stats, their experience, their story progression. That is high physical location. That is high complexity. That is amazing and brilliant. So you've got
Well,
the
the good news on that front, Krebs, is I've had the chance to talk with Joe quite a number of times. Dude is a smart cookie. Okay. For all of you who are sitting out there for that podcasting highfalutin language, I'm just going to dumb it down. Joe's a smart cookie.
I believe that. If
Yeah.
if you guys teamed up together at the Void, then that tells me a little something about the level to which he is advanced, right?
Well,
But he's
and you can appreciate this as well. One of our very high level goals. Oh gosh, I'll just go ahead and say it. It's way high level, but one of our goals is to develop an outward facing SDK, so that you can not only create adventures in the world of Abarax, but to be able to provide the soft side as well.
Wow.
The content of the soft side as well.
Man, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is an amazing thing. I love the idea that you can actually look at the map, at the magical map through the app, and have it show you the path that you should take, or and chart a course for you. We just actually, one of our goals that we passed not too long ago, stretch goals we passed not too long ago, was multiplayer ship flight. So I mean, flying a tall ship, an aero ship in the skies of Abarax is a pretty complicated thing to do. You know, setting the sails properly, the proper amount of sail to set, helm, and also the being the harpist on board the ship. There's the Sylph engine that is within the hull that causes the ships to rise and fall, and it doesn't provide motion, but it does provide lift and to a certain amount, it also provides keel functions as an interaction between the Sylph and Aether. And but getting this engine to function, this magical engine to function, is the job of the harpist. Why are they called the harpist, Laura? Do you remember?
Because they have many ropes that they have to pull, and it's like down in the belly of the ship, and it makes, he can tell by the sound of how the Sylph is in the
rigging. Yeah.
In the rigging.
Man, I don't know why, but I want to play a character that's down there, and I'm just speaking like Scotty from Star Trek every time.
I can't give.
She's got, Captain.
I gave her a B flat, and now she's not responding.
But the wonderful thing about this is that the app will allow each of the players around the table to play a part in sailing of the ship simultaneously. Nice. That some of you may be in the rigging, and some of you may be on the quarterdeck, and some may be below decks.
That's nice. Yeah, I mean, in past with like D&D, ship voyages always sucked because it just seemed like, all right, we're just sitting waiting for something to happen. But it sounds like you guys have made it interactive. Everyone's playing their part.
Oh,
Yeah, come on.
yes.
You don't want to just roll percentile dice and then wait 5 minutes while the DM rifles through a series of tables to tell you what happened.
Yeah, like,
I like to use
happened.
method acting, and I'll just vomit right at the table to simulate being seasick. And everyone loves when I do that. And by everyone, I mean just me. No, what's really cool about flying the airship cooperatively like that, we've talked about this many times, but I am a sucker for cooperative gaming. I don't like competitive gaming as much as I like cooperative. There is a video game that's been out for many, many years called Artemis Bridge Simulator. And the idea is that you're on a starship where one computer acts as the server, it acts as the captain, and then all the other connected clients are different stations on the same starship. And I love that game. And there aren't enough games like that. And
You
now
actually should do that game here at Mythos, because I've got an Artemis server on my,
It's true.
yeah.
We've talked about
we've
it a
played
lot.
Yeah.
you know, you're right.
tower
You should be the
exists.
captain of our starship, Tracy Hickman. I think that would be a great idea.
I was the captain of the starship when we played Artemis at Gen Con. We were
Oh
invited
my
over there by the guys who built it. And I was the captain of the ship, and I did not fall for the ruse by Jingo. I kept on station. Yeah, they were quite impressed with that. They said, everybody goes after the red herring. What's your problem, Matt? It's the red herring.
like,
I'm not going there.
Well, I'm a master world builder. What did you expect me to do?
So speaking of not falling for the ruse, okay,
Ah,
there was a word that was dropped a couple of times, and I've seen it all over the Kickstarter, and I've seen it mentioned in a couple of places. And if you have to keep secrets by all means. But
Sure.
Sylph,
Oh,
help us understand this a little more.
ooh, we haven't actually talked about Sylph.
well, I don't know if we actually can.
I mean, there's the Sylph engine.
There's
Right,
the Sylph
it is a
engine,
magical engine.
and there's the Sylph itself.
And the Sylph
And the
itself.
Sylph is a magical substance that is necessary for the ships to fly.
And rare.
But there is a dark, deep secret about Sylph
That we're not going to talk
that we
about
can't
tonight.
talk about.
Sylph is people. No, that's different. That's a different thing.
That's
Sorry.
Soylent Green.
That's Soylent Green. Oh, I knew it. I knew I had it switched around somehow. Okay, so something that's interesting
Wait a
to me
minute.
too.
Is
Yes,
Sylph
what?
the spice?
He who controls the
Spice
Sylph
Noir.
controls Abarax.
Yeah.
I
It
like
could
to
be a
think of it
saying,
as-
yeah, actually,
Yeah.
actually, good word.
The
I'm just
Harkonnens.
imagining it as Slurm from Futurama.
Ooh, is the slurm? That's a good one
It's the
too.
slur.
Sorry, we're going deeper into.
Except for we need a
concept.
hypnotoad then.
Yes, we do.
Okay, fine. Keep your secrets then.
Yes.
So going back
Secrets
to
are good.
something that was said at the very, very beginning of the episode, your goal in this Kickstarter was to hit 60K, and you are now 500% funded, right? Like
No, we're not done till we're at 1,000.
Yeah, I know. I that's what I'm saying. Like, we are going to push for this. We're going to push for this very hard. And by the time that you crawlers hear this episode, by the time this airs, I should say, you will have approximately 10 days left to do your part. And there are some awesome, I've been going through the Kickstarter, and there are some awesome, well-priced levels and rewards. You guys have been extremely generous as Kickstarters go. I'm pretty impressed at what you've done so far. In terms of,
Well,
like,
I'll tell you,
offering
by the way,
rewards.
that one of my favorites is the dice scroll, the scroll mat.
Yeah.
Not only is it really a gorgeous piece, yeah,
It is
in and of
beautiful.
itself, really beautiful, but we're also printing it with AR compatible imaging.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, you'll have in front of you on the mat, you'll have in front of you the images that you need to reference as you're playing the game. And the back map is also AR compatible as well, so you can turn it over and see where it is you need to go. It's a hugely
All right,
useful
I'm hooked.
tool.
I'm done. Where's my phone?
It's
I
got-
don't- yeah,
and I do love it because it actually had to be pointed out to me. On one end of the scroll is a place for your dice, and on the other end of the scroll there are compartments for your miniatures.
Mhm.
So everything you need is pick up the scroll and go. It's
Nice.
absolutely gorgeous.
it's almost like a world-class tabletop RPG player designed this next level world-class RPG.
I know. How did we stumble into that? I just don't know.
I don't know, but you married her.
That's
Anyway,
So, and that's something that's available at some of the collectors levels and things like that, if I'm remembering correct.
or you can add them on, which is very
correctly.
helpful.
What other kinds of things are they going to be able to see?
Well, we did pass another goal, which was printable miniatures. The STL files for printable miniatures of each of the characters that are on the cover of the art that we've shown so far. That one I'm very excited about because I'd like to prep those and paint those up.
Are those being done by Kim?
Yeah, Kim's doing those, and she's so fabulous.
She
Her
is an
fate's end
amazing
was so,
sculptor.
yeah, she's an amazing sculptor. So we'll have those figures are also going to be available to us, and we've got a number of really I think maybe my personal favorite though is the collector's edition that we're doing. It's leatherette covered, embossed, gold embossed books, both of which are in a gorgeous slipcase.
Wow.
And for those we will be personally signing numbered book plates.
Nice.
So your collector's edition will be a truly collector's edition, with an assigned number and registered number.
Nice.
Now, in addition to that, I mean, like your collective genius between you and Laura, you guys have just breathed life into this game, into this world. It sounds utterly fascinating. And you also talked about the immense talent of Kim and Joe Burry, but they're not the only, you and the Burries are not the only talents behind this. There are also some other magical names behind this.
There are.
Absolutely, and in fact, we've made our stretch goals on those people, so we're very excited.
Yeah, we have. First of all, we have a very good friend of mine, Joe Manganiello, who is such a tremendous supporter of role playing, and as it turns out, when he was a boy, he picked up these Dragonlance books, and he just fell in love with the world.
Nice.
I always knew he was such a nerd.
He is. So,
yeah, who would have known
so
Deathstroke loves Dragonlance?
In fact,
I bet you meant Flash Thompson from 2002 Spider-Man. Thank you very much. 20% of Mike's Magic team on Magic Mike.
I'll tell you though, he is one of the nicest men, and a really dear friend. I called. He's actually in Ireland right now, filming a series, and I asked him if he would like to join us on this, and he absolutely, in a heartbeat, he wanted to join and help with this. And in fact, I'm very much looking forward to working with him on some of the cultural backgrounds for our Dragonborn.
So he's consulting.
So he will be consulting with us, and he'll be working with us on this. He's very excited about being a part of this. I told him he could come in my basement and we could rummage through all my old stuff and see if there was anything he liked. And he was pretty happy about that idea.
That's amazing. I mean, he's got lots of money and stuff, and that he just wants to rummage through your basement. That's just kind of cool.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And we'll undoubtedly
there's cool
run some
stuff
games.
in our basement.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Actually, Alton can testify to that.
Yeah, past adventures have been had. I will definitely say that.
Did you get lost?
Well,
No,
Alton came down. You should
not
tell
physically.
You
Okay.
really should tell the story. We went down to the basement looking through old stuff and what to throw away, and Alton found a box of magic cards
That had been
that had been given to us by
Peter Atkinson.
Peter Atkinson.
This is like first series.
Yeah.
Like
There
Black
was
Lotus and everything?
so there wasn't a Black Lotus, but very, very few people now will ever get the chance to say some of the stuff that I did, which I was able to pull 2 of the Power 9 from fresh packs, which was
They hadn't even been opened.
absolutely amazing. A whole bunch of other high value stuff, and just pieces of history, things that there's literally only a few thousand of in the world, period. And it's also, I will admit, if Tasha's listening, I do apologize. It's one of the few times I've been very short with Tasha, who came over and started rifling through the cards without gloves on. It's the only time that I've ever felt an instinctive, like, don't do that. And then it was not even 5 minutes later, we open a mock sapphire.
So, I think that, Joe's probably going to have a lot of fun going through my basement.
And then there's all the old RPG stuff. I mean, there are tales of hidden adventure books partially completed that get pulled out of the.
Do you know, I was down there looking for Thanksgiving decorations today, and I found an old Ravenloft in a box. I'm like, what's that doing? Just sitting there.
So hang tight. Like this is a wonderful. I think we should have a whole episode called Hickman's Basement, Hickman's Treasure Trove Bonanza. Something like that. But I want to back up to Joe for just
Scott could be our camera.
Oh,
guy.
sure.
Oh my gosh, Scott would be a great camera guy. Let's go back to Joe for a second here, Joe Manganiello, because he is a famous actor. And he is Sofia Vergara's husband, and he is a consummate D&D nerd, and he's a Dragonlance fan. What was his contribution to Skyraiders?
Well, it's a little bit difficult for him to contribute right now because he is in Ireland, but we're very much looking forward to him being back. He is going to be helping us with the backgrounds and cultures for the Dragonborn, which is very dear to his heart.
Oh yeah, he's a huge Draconian.
Yeah,
if I remember right.
And as well as the other cultures that are there. Yeah. I just wanted to mostly get him down at my table and start playing so that we can get his take on all of that as well. So he actually is going to be a very active participant for us in what we're building. But in addition to Joe, we've got Matt Stawicki, who was an artist on some of the Dragonlance works later on. I just think his work is fabulous. Yeah. He's going to be doing a cover for us. And
didn't he do the last trilogy?
I believe he did.
And then those are amazing covers.
And he'll be doing artwork for us. And Larry Elmore, who I called up and asked if he'd be interested. It was a really fun conversation too. I asked him if he'd be interested in doing a cover for me for this project. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, now I heard you were working with Matt Stawicki. I don't want to take any work away from Matt. I said, no, it's okay. We are still going to be working with Matt. It's all right. But he said, I've got these like 2 more commission pieces to do. And then I've told everybody I'm not going to do any more commission work. I just want to paint what I want to paint. So I'm not taking on any additional work. And I told him, Larry, that's great. I mean, you've earned it, man. Yeah. Paint what you want. And he said, I'll do 1 more for you. So it's quite possible actually that we may have the last commission piece that Larry does.
Wow.
But what a wonderful thing. Larry was with us from the very beginning of Dragonlance. He on his own time created technical drawings of how Dragonlances were built. Wow. and beautiful artwork to help us sell
color roughs that he just did because he wanted to.
Because he just wanted to.
I love Larry.
We already know he's your man crush.
I know. I love Larry so much. And he understands beauty in small things. And he understands framing and composition and making a scene that's meaningful and incorporating real shapes and nature. And I just am so excited to see that. And it's good to hear that he's going to be taking a long rest, but I'm also selfishly grateful that we get 1 more piece out of him before.
Absolutely.
Well, it sounds like you might get more than that. He may just, I was thinking of this, throw more at you.
I was considering that Sylph engine you were talking about. And
a little piece of trivia. I got Larry actually to talk to Alton for his birthday.
He mentioned that like many times on the show over the last couple of weeks.
I think I've tried very hard not to talk about it on the air, but that was pretty much the first thing that I said the next time we sat down to record.
Yes.
So in addition to Joe Manganiello and Matt Stewicki and of course the legendary Larry Elmore, we've also got Carl Prusser, who was actually wrote the score for the Dragonlance movie.
Nice.
Yeah, I still maintain that it's the best radio play ever put on a DVD.
Okay.
But
The music for it's amazing.
was amazing and wonderful, and
Did have a good, cast.
had a great
It is.
cast. Yeah, and it was a good script. It's just that if your TV's broken, it's a lot better. So Larry, so Carl, I called Carl up and I said, we're doing this Kickstarter, what would some music, would you be interested in doing some music for us? And he immediately said, oh yes, absolutely. I said, well, what would it cost us? What are your rates? And he said, you know what, I'm going to do a theme for you for free.
Oh,
And then
Nice.
we'll, and then we'll work out rates for something after that. And then, so he did, he created, he said, what's it like? And we talked about what it was like, that it was, people started from a prison and then they took to the skies and the moving from this, from prison to this freedom. And so he created a theme that reflected that. It was amazing.
And that's what you hear when you go to the Kickstarter.
And that's what you
page.
hear when you go to the Kickstarter page and run the video, but it's more than that. Because then I said, oh, we got the video coming out. He said, well, send me the video and I'll score it.
He did.
And so he did. He scored our Kickstarter videos.
Wow.
We have this like Hollywood score for our Kickstarter video from Carl because he just wanted to do it.
That's amazing.
We even changed the video and the timing on the video, and I felt so badly. I said, Carl, you made this beautiful thing. And he said, I just send me the other one. I'll retime it for you.
Redid it. Wow.
Yeah.
So we're actually talking with him about doing some additional music so that we can actually add that into the app, and it can also add to the ambience
Totally need
of the game.
a song that goes with
So it's a
flight
huge-
of the ships. That would
It's a
be amazing.
wonderful
Oh my
team,
gosh.
wonderful, incredible team that we're working with.
Yeah.
And while we're funded, for us, the higher we fund, the more we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why we need 1,000%, folks. I'm going to say it again.
And those stretch goals, they are like the stars we're reaching for, the things
Yeah.
we'd really like to do for our backers.
Yeah.
Out there, they're on the higher end. There are some really fun things, but it takes time, and time takes money.
Yep. So
And-
are there,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there,
no, I
Daniel.
was just going to say, are there deities in this world? Because I haven't really heard, but
Oh,
like any
it's a
other D&D
Hickman.
game,
Can it be
there's
anything
got to be
else?
some really fun deities.
There's a full pantheon.
Sweet.
Actually, it's
We can't.
It's okay. They can't say anything. My
Let's just
answer
say
was
that you-
answered.
the answer is that yes, there is a pantheon, and it is one of the coolest things we've ever
Nice.
built
mean,
together.
come on.
It
Yeah.
is just
It is.
You have Fizbin. So obviously there's going to be some fun
Yeah.
deities.
Spoilers, one of the deities is embodied in a popsicle stick.
What?
What?
No, I must be thinking of something else. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry, but we did.
Freeze ban?
I'm just saying.
I like that one. Freeze band.
Freeze band.
He's in a popsicle stick.
Oh, wow.
We have a merchandising opportunity.
We
here.
do.
We have kept you up way too late,
Oh,
haven't we?
it's
Yeah.
true.
Well,
This is an easy solve. If you ever want a freeze band, just go to your local store, eat a popsicle, and you have your own deity.
Excuse me, can I get a cherry freeze band, please?
Yes.
All right, so
Okay, but you have to eat it fast.
so dungeon crawlers out there, make sure to go check out Kickstarter right now. Skyraiders of Abarax. That's Abarax.
And I'm so glad Alton said that because I was going to screw it up again.
And of course, there's the link to the Kickstarter is also on skyraiders.net.
Yeah,
Nice.
just go to, if the easiest way is to go to skyraiders.net, and then there's a click through to directly to the Kickstarter. And yeah.
And we're here on Wednesday nights at Mythos playing our first run through.
That's true.
One of our,
we do
very first
a
games.
live stream on Wednesday nights here at Mythos. That's called Dragonhearth Live, and starting last week and continuing again this week, and for the next several weeks actually, we're actually running Skyraiders in 5e for a group here.
Nice.
Yeah, very, very exciting.
What's your Twitch stream?
Yeah, you'd think it'd be easy, right?
It's Dragonhearth Tracy.
Oh yeah, Dragonhearth
Oh, man,
Tracy.
wow.
Oh, yeah, that's
Thank you.
wow. Who thought of that? Yeah, Dragonhearth Tracy. Yeah, who thought of that? Yeah, that's our Twitch stream. Yeah, we do have a YouTube channel also. I mean, we stream to Twitch and YouTube and
Nice.
Facebook, and the YouTube
And I
channel.
answer comments from all three at the same time.
That's true. That's pretty
amazing.
amazing. Yeah.
It's because of Freeze Ban.
Yep, it checks out.
Because of freeze
Checks
ban.
out. Yeah, but do please come take a look at the Kickstarter. I hope you'll be just as excited about it as we are. It's something that's been years in the making, and we're so excited to be able to share it with everybody now.
Very nice.
Right here as we're finishing up the show, for everyone's reference, we're at 312,000. We're well on the way.
Yes.
But Dungeon Crawlers, it's up to you now. Get us across that finish line. Show us some love.
Because we have to reach 1,000%.
We have
Gotta
to
keep
reach
saying it.
1,000%.
Have to reach 1,000%. It would
Wow.
just look so.
Because if
cool.
not, you failed us all.
Oh,
Just kidding.
wow.
Just kidding.
Oh.
Just kidding, guys.
Good grief.
Well,
Dan.
No,
I'd
but
be sitting in front
seriously,
of my
get on
screen.
Yeah, guys, come on.
No, this is a great game. I mean, if you've played Ravenloft, you know this is going to be quality. If you've ever read the Dragonlance or played the Dragonlance game back when Dragonlance was available, you know you're getting a solid world. Come on, pirate ships or even just normal ships up in the air. It sounds amazing all the way around. So, plus there's some mystery and other things in this game that you will want to enjoy. And there's a great team. So definitely help out, because yes, we want to see more cool, amazing things you guys come up with, because so far everything you've talked about sounds amazing. So,
And
Well,
thank you
thank
for
you.
coming on
Yeah.
and talking about it with us. We really appreciate it.
so are we doing a lightning round or no? Because that's normally Krebs' thing.
That is normally the thing. Now, I lightning round Tracy, but I've never lightning rounded Laura.
I know.
I don't even know what.
So lightning round.
Oh,
Josh
I could-
takes over and he asks random questions.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
I
In
can
fact,
do that.
so in
And
this
none of
lightning
them are
round,
pre-selected or
Yes.
forethought
He just
in any
makes
way.
them up.
Find random answers.
Yeah, you
We
know.
can do that.
yeah, absolutely. So in the lightning round, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, mostly off the cuff, and I want you to just give me a very short form answer, just as quickly as you can. I want very little thought but behind it. Okay, ready? Here we go. First, a few softball questions. What's your favorite color?
Blue,
What's your middle name?
Diane,
What would you like it to be?
Charlotte,
Nice. What is your favorite food on a rainy day? Because you are a D&D nerd, what is your favorite character class and why?
Oh, it's got to be the first thing I played. It was an assassin. It was Sassafras the Assassin.
I like that. Plus, it
still have
involves
that
straight
mini.
murder.
Keep in mind, this is the lady who invented Strahd, everybody.
And then finally, just one more question here before you go. What is your stance on the 1983 sci-fi fantasy film Kroll?
Ugh.
Oh, that face!
That assassin coming in for Krebs. Yes.
Holy crap!
Make him feel.
Man,
Oh,
I got to release the video just for that one.
that is some Patreon level material right there. Jeez,
Oh.
Jesus.
I'd rather watch your.
Your
Oh.
Hunter of the Future?
Yes.
Yes! Yes! The movie that's about a caveman who's actually an alien and it's kind of Star Wars, but it's not. And he also has multiple wives and a husband. Yes!
Well, you survived the lightning round.
Oh, good.
And apparently made Krebs Day.
So I think that's to you then.
All right, it's over. So folks, go out, go to the Kickstarter, definitely fund it. Jump on it. Whatever pledge level you feel is you can do. Definitely want to go for the highest percentage we can, so we can see some really cool stuff. But again, thank you guys for coming on. It's been fantastic. It's always a pleasure. And with that said, we're out of here.
And whether you're about to listen to another episode of Dungeon Crawlers Radio or visit skyraiders.net, I recommend the second. Tell your story, whatever may come.
And whether you're into the game for Tracy and Laura's genius or Joe Manganiello's amazing abs, always remember to be epic and don't suck.
Remember, the Force will be with you always.